So
That's crazy.
I think my study style I had to realize is like it's a lot of it is not necessarily collective for me in terms of like school. I had to like go in a corner in the quiet on my couch,
Yeah.
and do it.
I feel like I just wish I knew what I knew now, like my freshman year.
Yeah.
If I feel like I knew, like, for me, wise, like growing up and like smart wise, okay, I have dyslexia and ADHD,
Wow.
so it was a big like combination growing up
Yeah.
for sure. But my mom was such a bro. My mom's like my number one bro. My mom's like,
Oh wait, we try to let's get these aesthetics right,
my
bro.
bad. My mom, my mom's like a W, bro. Like I wouldn't be. My parents are great parents, but like my mom just loves us so much. She's so loving, bro. It's not even like crazy. I don't know. Probably other moms is bad at like good at like her out there, but since a little, like when I was little, I had a lot of issues, and she just like took care of that. And my mom is so like unjudgmental too. Like I can tell my mom about anything or talk to her about anything, and she's just like so understanding. She just wants to listen and hear about me. Like if I tell my dad that, bro, he go like, you shouldn't blah blah blah, you shouldn't be doing this, or you should do that, and then give me a whole like plan out and everything, and how that's outcome's gonna. I'm like, bro, ain't that deep.
Yeah.
But actually, funny enough, when I get 18, I'm gonna get a tattoo on my chest
Okay.
on her handwriting.
Okay.
I wanted to say, cause she always says this, cause I'm her youngest. Forever my little boy, forever my baby boy.
Aw. I
So,
like that. That's cute,
Forever
bro.
my baby boy. I can't wait.
Yeah, bro. So yeah,
But,
you a mama's boy too.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say to that is like, I was kind of behind a little. Like I was in kindergarten for 2 years. Like because like they saw like I wasn't learning stuff very quickly, and then they realized I had dyslexia, and then I started going into like training for my dyslexia. It's like bro, so much like reading therapy. I also had a fricked up year too, so I had a what's it called? Do you know Ferg's wife?
I live nowhere.
She does like hearing things, and like I had like hearing sessions with her to strengthen my ear. I actually had a little bit of a lazy eye. I told you that, didn't I?
No, dog.
So I had to strengthen my lazy eye.
Bro.
Actually, another thing is the doctor said I was crawling into like when I was like 2 years old still, and like I wasn't walking, and like I had like some kind of issue with my legs or something. So they said I wouldn't probably like able to like climb a tree or like run or something, which is crazy because like now I'm like
hoop.
now I'm a hooper.
That's crazy.
So there's a lot of like negative things for me, and my mom took a lot of that responsibility of like learning things and like researching things and like be able to give me the best opportunity I could.
That's beautiful, bro. Like, I think it's so helpful when you have somebody in like a parent that really takes time for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like my mom. That's what I was gonna talk about with your timetables. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
My mom, there's so many times I wouldn't curse her out, but like for a little kid, I would make her feel bad. Like I know another thing about it, I feel so bad. But like she would teach me my timetables. Like we would have flashcards. We would go over, and then she'd be like, "Hey, what's this? What's this? What's this? What's that?"
This is my mom, right? Like
Right?
word for word.
Yeah, really, you too?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like she would go with flashcards with me with multiple different things. And she always just like wanted me to succeed and was so like patient and lovely. Like my mom would like I don't have any time I remember my mom like ever talking back to me. She would always just be like, "Okay, if that's how you feel, you know." I don't understand how she does it.
Wow.
She's an angel.
Wow, she does sound like an angel.
Yeah, but my dad,
Yeah.
we get in fights, dog. Like we'll get into some crazy fights. But
This is bro, and this is a beautiful thing. Like, I'm just gonna. I feel like I can say that. Like, just having if you're fortunate enough to have like a mother, like a very loving, very nurturing mother. Cause like, so my father is like the opposite of yours. You know what I'm saying? Like my mother's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Like very much like I remember her because I was slow, bro, with my math, dog. I was slow with my math. And I remember her like taking flashcards, you know, and doing the little 2 times 6, 3 times, and you know, and like, what is it, Caleb?
Yeah.
And going through that. But then my dad is like, so she took all the time to nurture, right? And like because it just helped me learn.
Yeah.
And then my dad is like, not very like, son, you should have done this. He's more so just he was like in the background.
Yeah.
He was always working, but like your dad works too a lot, but like my dad works a lot as well. But he was like more so like teach by example. Not like nonverbal, She's like a lot of teaching by example.
But that's the opposite.
Yeah,
he's more
I see that.
He's more like even though there's some things like he's like very humanized. Like he like especially now he'll explain like even though he does a lot of things that like he'd be like I do this and I sure probably need to work more in here. And he explains to us and like sometimes he doesn't lead by example. And I'll call him out on some stuff. You know what I mean? But like he's very he tells us about like the meaning behind stuff and explains to me stuff like that, I think, which is very good. And now growing up more, you kind of learn that's more of his perspective. But at the same time, it's reality. I think my mom and dad have a very good balance. Like I think a lot of people, if you looked at their relationship, like just if you knew their two personalities, you just looked at relationships, you'd be like, what the hell? Like how are they like working?
Yeah.
But like the more you understand them, like, bro, they work really well. But how do I explain my I think me and my dad's relationship is very complex. And I don't like it's very hard explaining it. Like okay, one thing that happened last night, I feel like he's a kid, bro, sometimes. Like on the low key is like so I don't know, maybe it's my perspective. So I went to the garage to get like a drink and then I come out and then my mom's like, "Can you get us some bubblies?" And I was like, I was like, "Yeah, what do you guys want? What kind of flavor?" She's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter." And then before I'm going, my dad's like,
Why'd you?
Yeah. My dad's like, I just spent an hour making dinner. And he's like, I just make an hour making dinner. He's so good with his words too. The way he says, he's like, yeah, oh, could you go and get about me? I just spent an hour cooking dinner. He didn't make it, he wasn't like, I spent an hour cooking dinner, go and get me a bubbly.
Yeah.
He made it just seem like, I went to go do that, so go and get me a bubbly. But like so smooth, you know what I mean?
So it was like you have no reason to sigh.
Exactly.
Because I just spent an hour doing for you, which you're about to do in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah. And then to him, I said, it's not. I'm not sighing because like I don't want to get you a bubbly. I was just sighing because I came out and then now you guys are asking for. But you could have asked me when I was going back.
Right.
And then he's like, oh wow, okay. So then he just like, I'm like. And then he always plays the victim and makes me look like the bad guy. It's like when I say something that's like logical or makes sense.
Right.
But and like it's like he's like, oh, okay, Jordy's going off again. Now he's retarded. You know what I'm trying to say?
I get it. I get it 100%.
And then in that moment, I'm like, am I being crazy or like I generally feel like. And then my mom hates conflict. She hates conflict, and like she'll do anything to not get in conflict. So she just won't say anything or get in any any of our conversations. It's just me and my dad get a go at it.
Interesting.
Like there's times that we, even kids, like even now too, like if we start like fighting, like physically, because like we'll like hustle, like, you know, play wrestle stuff, because like we're guys. There's like 3 of us guys. She just goes downstairs. She hates that kind of stuff.
You told me that, and I always thought that was really interesting. So that's she's very high level of sensitivity to conflict.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting.
The best way I can explain it is like, it's a white person. And when a white person tries to like some black food or some like culture food, like, wow, this is a lot of seasoning.
Right.
It's the same thing for my mom, but like culture-wise in her family. Her family was so like bland.
Right.
They were like not really a family. You know what I mean? They were super like chill. So now her coming in this family is like a lot.
Yeah, and it's very up close. It's very personable. It's very like in your face.
Yeah.
Right. Like, even the act of wrestling is very It's a very intimate act.
It is very intimate. It is very intimate.
No, for real though.
It is
because it's like you're not wrestling to hurt them. Maybe a little bit, but like you're more so wrestling like to get mastery over them, but it's
dominate.
Fun. Yeah, to dominate, but at the same time it's like it's all jokes and giggles.
Yeah, it's
you know
all
what I'm saying?
love.
So
Yeah,
it's very it's a very vulnerable act. You know what I'm saying? It's a very vulnerable thing.
True.
Anyway, yeah, man.
But yeah, I mean, that's another thing that actually came in my head. The things my dad would do, bro, like this is just one thing I can remember that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
We were like wrestling. We would wrestle with him, and like it was a point we were like in pain with. Like he would do something, we were like in pain. And then he'd be like, don't tap out. Leaners never give up. Never surrender. Leaners never give up. Never surrender. So it was like if you said like stop or I'm gonna tap out, you're not a leaner technique. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, so like just those mental games and stuff like that he would play on us, and like the things he said, he's like, don't get me wrong, like he's a crazy mofo. He's crazy, but like he's made me like part of the person who I am today, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I feel like you're a sturdy young man, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
That's good, bro. Yeah, dog. You know, it was interesting about this, like all of this stuff, like this external, this feedback that you get from your dad, I get from my mom though. So like a lot of it, I think because like my dad's you know, he's a really good guy. You know, like very, I would say very good man. But like he was very, for the most part, like I said, more quiet.
But passive?
Like, yeah, more I don't know if that's the right word, but just like very like I'm gonna lead by examples, right? And
like through actions.
Through actions, right? Like doesn't really say like when it comes to a lot of advice. Like he can give advice if I ask, but he okay, this is blah 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 blah. Like she'd be like, son, this is how you walk. Like you when you walk, you like walk with your fists kind of folded. Don't like walk with your hands like this. You know all the very much like she'd be like be careful how people like other men like try to touch you and stuff. Caleb like blah 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 all that right. So she was kind of I think like all the things that my dad didn't say, she was the one that voiced them.
Got
you. Feel me? Yeah, but then there came a point when I went to college, right? I'll never forget this. Like my first year in college, I called my mom. It was about a girl, and I was like, "Mom, like I'm trying to talk to this girl. Like I don't know how to talk to her. I don't know how to approach blah blah blah." And she's like, "I don't know. You should talk to your father." And I was like, "What? Like he probably doesn't know. Like he doesn't know anything." And then I talked to him, and he gave me a bunch of advice. So then from that day forward, I started asking my dad for a lot more advice, which is very, But he still doesn't really always give it out for free. I have to, like, approach him. You know what I mean?
What you mean?
Like, a lot of times I have to, like, come and be like, hey, what do you think about it?
Yeah,
blah,
yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. And then he'd be like, oh, So.
Is it fluently after that or no?
It's pretty fluid. I still think I'm more comfortable with my mom and maybe certain conversations, but now I think it's probably a split now, to be honest.
Is he just like a type of girl that's not like gonna wear his heart on his sleeve?
Yeah, at all. And I think it was a little frustrating for me, especially as I got a little bit older.
Yeah.
Just because like I think when I started to get like after 18, I started to really look for more of my dad to give me. I would like want him. I was like sometimes I'd hope like I hope he just pulls me inside and just tells me like sometimes I like even just rough me up like why did you do what I'm saying? But he was always usually more quiet, more calm, even when I made mistakes, and I mean which I've appreciated for that. But like I just overall I think like I desired a lot for him to just be like, son, this is what it is. Just lay it down for me without me always having to be like. What
did your dad have a dad?
He did, but his dad as well is more reserved. He's more reserved as well.
I mean, at least you know now what you want to do as dad.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're right. I think, and I think I've thought about this a little bit. I like obviously like how my dad really was like in terms of like providing for the family, all that stuff. He did that very well. So like example, but like I do want to incorporate a little bit more like how your dad be talking to like I want to talk to my kids.
Yeah, I feel like that guy, my dad. I feel like he low-key gaslights me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't know if it's purposely sometimes.
Yeah.
Or it's just like that's genuinely how he sees it and that's what he thinks. But it's just a like. Messed up, like not factual, but it's just his perspective, and he gives it as he's a very opinionated person. And like an example, like with the example I just give you, he like, oh wow, you're going crazy, like you know what I mean, you're acting irrational. So it's like times where I'm like, I don't know if that's why I like a part of the reason why I think a lot about like action and stuff is because like I look at how it is. I'm not gonna look how I feel about it or how the other person. I see how it is. I think that's also what's really good about me is like I can look at so many different perspectives. You know what I mean? But yeah, bro, parenting is crazy. One of my dad actually told me is like when we were younger, he was like seeing how kids were act and stuff, and I'd be like, that's a bad kid, and he's like, nah, it's not a bad kid. That's bad. He has bad parents. And I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's facts though.
I was like, you can realize like a kid, like from a kid, how good parents are.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But what was I gonna wanted to get to? Oh, this is I kind of want to talk about this a little, but I mean, we could go into talking more about like parents and like how we are and like all that kind of and like family structure, or do you want to talk more about we're gonna say the excuse me, like the mental health thing and the like the barriers and stuff like that?
I feel like we're really rolling on the parenting thing.
Okay, let's go.
Let's roll with that.
Yeah, let's roll with that. Let's roll with that. I was because I could collide them. I was gonna collide them because
and here's the thing: they intersect. Because I think like just how in terms of like we were talking about mental health and like I mean there's a lot to unpack in terms of trauma, past experiences with family, how we deal with our stress when it comes. Yeah, I mean a lot of that has to do with where we come from, how we grew up in our household. I mean, so when they intersect, Maybe it's going to be a part 1 and 2. I don't know.
Yeah, one thing you're talking about is like what your mom told you and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of those things, I think it was just how my brain works, but I kind of learned a lot of those things myself. I think it's part of being the youngest. Like there was times where like we would sit in like the living room and my dad would give advice to my brothers. So it'd be like, my brothers would be like, okay, well, this scenario, they would give them and like, okay, what do we do? And then they kind of talked about them. And I think I learned a lot from them and that. Then when it came to my scenarios, I look at it very like objectively. But at the same time, I'll definitely still think I'm more careful. How do I explain this? This is confusing because like part of my own bias is sometimes in it a little bit. It's not completely like subjective, but I look at things when it's in my side very, very like if it's girls or something, I'll think about it. It ain't that deep, a lot, because it's like I'm not trying to get my emotions involved. Because like then once I get my emotions too much involved, then it's like I'm not obsessed, but I'm kind of obsessed. Because the way my family grew up is, like I said, very hard on sleep. We're very emotional. We're very very loving in our family.
Yeah.
Especially my mom and dad and me. I'd say we three are more emotional. Carlo, my middle one, is not as emotional, but like we're still emotional. Gio's emotional. Like, I don't know. I think growing up in a very loving, emotional like house, that like makes you a different type of way. Like it makes you very I care a lot. I care a lot how I affect other people. I care about like others. I care about like, I don't know. I'm a very emotional person. Like myself. Like there's sometimes like videos like I'll watch and like just TikTok will come up and I'll start tearing up. Like it's not crying, but I'll tear up. Like that's just like how.
It pushes it down a little bit. Yeah. Good.
Like I literally would genuinely like tear up a little and then I'll keep watching them. It's like, yeah.
No, I mean, I feel that, brother. Like. Did I cut you off, brother?
No, I didn't. I was gonna circles. What you say? Tell me about that.
No, I feel the same way. I feel like I think having a very like a really good family structure, like because overall my family was really like it was really good. It was a good upbringing, right? And like parents together, but also not just parents together, but they loved each other and they really like took care of us. You know what I'm saying? So I think it really helped me to be very in tune with my own emotions. And maybe because I didn't have to go home to like a bunch of stress. I didn't have to go home to like a bunch of discord, you know what I'm saying? So like I think because of having that harmonious bringing, like it's like you plant a seed and it has good soil.
So you told me you would never ever come home and be like, I do not want to be at home right now. Or like,
no, bro.
You never came home and you're like, oh, I don't want to deal with it.
No. Like, I looked forward to going home to do my schoolwork. Like, I look forward to going home just to, like, relax.
Nerd!
No, because home was, like, the one place where it was calm enough for me to concentrate. Like, I go home, bro, it's quiet. Like, in a good way. Like, my mom...
You're lucky.
I know, right? I remember sitting on the couch doing homework, and my mom is, like, in the next room cooking. And then my dad might be on the computer doing his work, right?
So you guys kind of just all did your own little thing.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. And then we had dinner together. Like every night have dinner together. Then Sabbath is like family unit.
You were like the typical family.
Yeah, dog. Like
That's like the American family.
yeah, bro.
Nah, bro.
Yours wasn't like that.
Nah.
So I feel like you meet your emotional stability through a little bit more conflict, a little bit more pressure.
That's
you know?
a good way. That's a very good explaining. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think really had like a sit down dinner, like or a sit like ever, like
Yeah,
ever.
I saw you a little
I was like-
shocked
I
when I
was like,
said
that's
that. You were a little
crazy.
puzzled. That.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what, like, so my dad's an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
like, and like even to this day, like his weeks change up. I do not know his pattern. I don't know when he's gonna be home. I don't know when he's not home. Like he just randomly shows up. He randomly goes this and go to that.
Right.
So it's like that consistency for me is like confusing. So it's like I can't like we can't base a like a repetitive like off him. You know what I mean? I can't be like, oh, he's gonna be here, you're gonna be that. But at the same time, he's not like far. He's like only max he'll ever be is like 15 minutes away, you know?
Right.
So it's not like I don't feel like my dad's there. Like, oh, I feel like I can like he's so helpful. Like, I can call him right now and be like, oh, I ran out of gas, I need help. He'll be there in a minute. You know what I mean? But I was gonna say also, my parents, they made part of their identity and their hobby being parents.
Yeah.
Extremely. Like my dad doesn't golf, he doesn't do anything. He literally works and he loves spending time with the family and his wife. And same thing for my mom. Which is crazy because it's like I know so many of the parents and I don't know if we'd already kind of talked about this a little. Like that I was trying to tell my parents, like I was like talking to my mom, I was like, y'all need to have like some hobbies. like I was like y'all like if I realized growing up, I was like, if y'all went for like a week or something with your girls for like a trip or something, like I wouldn't be mad maybe in the moment now, but like me realizing he's like, I don't think you guys showed me the significance of like pursuing like what you guys want to do.
Yeah.
Besides, my dad just my whole life just been like a grinder, bro. Like he just grinds it out.
Yeah.
Until
I
he
see
can't.
that. I see that because when I used to work at the store, bro, at the hardware store,
yeah.
in town, like I remember him just coming in with his whips, bro. I was like, okay, and he always looked like he had an agenda. You know what I'm saying?
He's always on.
I
He's
was
on.
like,
He's
I
on
was
it.
like, what is he? What is
He's
this guy
on
doing?
it. He's like, yo, can we give me that? All right, perfect. No, John, get off the phone. You know, he's always on it, bro.
Oh man.
And he's on this level, bro. That's like he just works,
Yeah.
and he thinks everybody can work on that.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually one thing that's part of my issue too. Is like, but I'm realizing more is like, my brain and the way I am as a person, I just work differently than people.
Yeah, your brain's pretty quick, huh?
And I
see that.
And I get frustrated with people easily because I'll be like, you stupid? Like I'll be like, bro, what? And I think, and I need and I'm learning. I'm just learning curve of like realizing that like not everybody can work like that. I know everybody can think like that.
Yeah.
But one thing I hate, bro, about people, like one of my biggest pet peeves is people that like are scared to change, or like scared to get better, or no, scared to get older. Like I was talking to this girl like a minute ago, and she was like, I'm like, yeah, you're getting older, and then she's like, don't say that. I'm like, it's facts though, like. You want me to lie? Like,
right. Man, you know, I was talking to my mom yesterday about this, like literally last night, and she was just like, she's like, man, Caleb, you're getting older. I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't feel like I'm older though. She's like, yeah. She's like, you never will. But I guess that's spoken from a positive mindset. You know what I'm saying? But like, honestly, I was like, maybe I just feel like I need to get some more sleep. But other than that, like, I feel.
Your soul doesn't change.
Man, my soul. I feel like I've told you this before.
Yeah.
I still feel young.
Yeah,
I
you
feel
told me this.
I mean, I'm still young though. But like, I feel like. Thank you.
I'm kidding, cause you're still young. Oh, wait, you're 28.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes. 28.
29, 30?
No, I'm 28. I'm
Okay,
28.
okay, okay,
I'm 28.
Okay, yeah, I thought you were 28, but you made that face, and I thought you were like saying like I'm 30. Like,
Nah, bro.
you're in your
But-
20s, you're chilling, cuz.
Exactly,
But
though.
once you hit 30, we're gonna have a talk.
Bro, I just feel like I feel like I have energy. Honestly, I feel like I still have my playfulness. Pretty much the only two things that have changed, I told you this, is more bills to pay and okay, maybe three things. More bills to pay, more responsibilities like outside of
Shoot.
myself, you know?
Yeah.
And then I think that's it. Oh, and experience. Like I think
Yeah.
I feel like I have experience mixed with more like experiences mixed with application. Like I know how to apply things, like how to better my movements in life based off of experiences. Like I guess wisdom. You know, this is what it comes down to. More wisdom. You know?
Question.
Yeah.
What was your relationship with your siblings and like
Yeah.
compared to like now? Like what has any like
Okay.
anything like
Yes.
Yeah.
So you said you liked the conflict in your house because you felt like
Yes, I do.
yes and no.
Yeah.
So I hated the conflict.
Yeah.
Like so, like I get in conflict with my brother. I like when we were younger, we fight. Man, I remember like making him bleed a few times. Not like because I beat him up
Yeah.
because he's older. More so, I just like I took a few cheap
Yeah,
shots, like
yeah,
scratches. But like I hated the conflict, bro. I hated it. And then my sister and me sometimes like she
Do you have
wouldn't
any
want-
crazy stories? Like any like crazy story that you can think of like that you with you and your brother?
like did anything crazy? Not really, man. I just remember like wrestling with him
Yeah.
a lot. Like we fight over the remote. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Stuff like that. I feel like you got similar.
I'm trying to
stories.
think. I'm trying to think of like something that like crazy happened.
Yeah, but I didn't like the conflict. And then as we got probably by the time I got to high school, like we leveled out, right? Probably like 7th, 8th grade. By that
Yeah.
point, we were like. We became more of like bros, you know. Like I go play. He'd take me places because I was young. I was the youngest. He had
Yeah.
the car. Like he'd take me to his events. Like we just kind of.
Would your brother chill about like how old was it? How old was he?
He's 3 years older than me.
Okay,
yeah.
That's like a good age.
It's a
That's me and my middle one. That's like my middle brother.
yeah. It's a good gap.
Yeah, it's a good
especially when
gap.
you're younger.
Yeah.
Like definitely noticeable enough.
It's the perfect big brother age.
Exactly.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Exactly.
Not too older to not relate, but like not too young where it's like I'm still like I'm the same age.
And like even though when we were younger we would like fight, he still always had the bigger brother protection thing on me. You know what I'm saying? So like nobody would mess with he would always be ready to fight. Like if
Yeah.
something happened.
It's weird because with my brother, Carlo, the middle one, like in some aspects, I feel like the older brother.
Interesting.
Even though he's like 3 years older than me, I feel like, yeah, I'm the big brother because he's not conflicted at me. He's a lot like my mom. Like he's very much of a people pleaser, and you let people like run over him just because like he doesn't want to cause anything. And I'm like the type of person that like I love my brother Carlo, and I'm not gonna let that slide.
Yeah.
So it's like if we were like out together or something, and like someone said something to him that I knew like wouldn't like he wouldn't like or something like that, but he just lets it slide, I'd be like, what else? What did you just say, bro? Like you know what I mean? Like I'll be like,
you
like
I got you.
I got his back. Like I'm gonna chill for him and I'll stick up for him. And I think like worldly experience and worldly perspective. I think I have a bigger perspective than him.
Interesting.
And an understanding of the world. He's very kind of like more of a grown up in that SDA community and kind of gone to Southern and very more like he just hasn't really expanded his like belief and perspective from himself compared to our parents. He's kind of adopted that and now kind of struggling. I think now more than ever he's like more like actually thinking about it because now he's actually doing some stuff that he's like, wait, that doesn't align with completely my beliefs. I don't know. And now he's actually questioning it. Me, I did that like 4 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, for, like
dang, I'm advanced.
like yes. So yeah, I don't. So yeah, so in some aspects, I feel like I'm the older brother.
Yes.
Because like everybody's.
Oh, go ahead.
You don't get the final thought. You know what I mean? You don't get the one to be like the one to act towards someone.
Nope. You never get the
It's
final
always
thought.
your problem.
Yes, and it's usually like you're the youngest, so therefore I have more experience. I know better than you.
Exactly.
You know, and that's what it is, bro. It's always like I know better than you. People like I'll say like, oh, you know, growing up, this hurt me better. Like, But when I was growing up, Caleb, this like it'd be like, well, I was the oldest, so you know, I took the full responsibility of you guys, or like I'm the middle and blah 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 blah, and then the youngest, you're not left with anything.
And a lot of the issues like I would have to deal with them, and like the older sibling, it's like it was not really pointed out or ever like, or even if I voiced it out, it was like, huh, you know what I mean? But like if I did something, they'd be like, bro, Jordy, you're being so immature, you're being so annoying, like I'm like.
Yeah,
it's always faced on me, but like if I try to point something on them or like especially Gio, they're like, "Bro, what are you talking about?" Like, that's like probably the worst thing about being the youngest.
Yeah, bro. I feel like it's usually like forever that kind of let us instruct you a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, and maybe that's why too. I think I did really become very like emotionally aware, like you're saying, because and like being able to see things from a different perspective because I had to, you know what I'm saying? And I think for a long time I was very much like I didn't know how to maybe be able to stand my own ground and like be like, okay, I understand what you're saying, but that doesn't negate what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And I had to really kind of figure out how to really take those in and like kind of synthesize them. Sometimes, like, well, here's the thing. I feel like because I'm the youngest, I had to learn how to be like accept truth and also reject falsehood, even if it was proclaimed to me as truth, or like this is what you need to do, Caleb, or you did this wrong or whatever. I'm really good now at being able to like, okay, what you said about that point, that's true. What you said about them, that's not true. That completely not true. Or that a little bit true. You know what I'm saying? And then like take that, formulate that, and be like, okay, well I could take this, I can learn from that. No, I'm actually doing that good, even though you say I'm not doing that good. You know what I'm saying? And then I do that honestly now, like with any relationship I have, I usually am like looking at it from all those angles now. So
that's really good.
Yeah.
You learn that, and I think the youngest, bro, like you just learn more. You're not you just learn more quicker.
Yeah. Because you're not, and here's the advantage.
Oh, we could call this podcast "Being the Youngest."
Yeah.
Being the youngest.
Sure, why not?
You know what I mean? We're talking about.
We are.
We're both the youngest.
Yeah.
Talking about parenthood.
I like it. Let's do it.
Childhood. All right, bet.
I mean, because here's the thing, man. I feel like there are advantages because, like you're saying, you're able to see everything. Also, I think like you're able to see your siblings' mistakes, but also like from a parent's perspective, you know what I'm saying? They went through two other
I was gonna ask you, what were your parenting, like you're from your parents, like parenting you, how was it the same or different going to you compared to your siblings?
Yeah, so I think this is from my sister's perspective. She felt kind of pressured, like overly pressured to do things, right?
Okay.
Because she's the firstborn, she felt like pressured to do things that maybe she didn't want to, but like, you know, she's the first kid, so they're like, hey, you should do this, don't do that, don't do this, you know, so kind of like that. Then my brother, you know, I'm trying to think, what is it? I feel like he was a little bit more, I think he kind of was molded a little bit more by my parents initially. Versus my sister, firstborn, she kind of had like her kind of independent spirit, right? But she felt pressured to do things accordingly what they wanted. Then my brother was kind of more so molded, at least in the beginning, by my parents, and for a long time he like kind of stood on their principles, like kind of like your brother. Oh wow, oh this is crazy.
The middle. That's actually a lot like Gio too, the oldest one.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So he was definitely molded. Like now he's definitely his own person for sure. But like, and then I
think Carlo will too, but it's gonna give him a couple years.
Yeah,
he's just young.
Yeah. Because from the very beginning, I think my sister felt pressured, but she also was very like kind of had her independent spirit. And then my brother molded, but then he graduated into his own type of thing. Then me, bro, I was an experimental kid.
Same.
Yeah, bro. Like I was always like, I was just like in the
Push the boundaries, bro.
Yeah, I think
I did personally.
I was a good kid. Like I didn't put. I was very. Yeah. See, I was like very obedient and everything. But what I mean by push the boundaries, like, or like experimental, dude. Like I was homeschooled for a long time.
I would
too.
say,
So my mom I had free reign to just kind of like. I was like one day like I want to go to the library.
For
the next
me,
day,
this
like
is
I wanted to play homeschool soccer. Like the next day. Yeah.
I guess what I mean by like pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like how would I explain this? I would always step a little bit over the line. It wasn't I was going crazy stuff at a young age or doing anything. Right. I was always just trying to see how much can I get away with. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. It was like about like little things, not big things. Like my dad would be like, "Oh, don't go to bed at this time." Go to bed like an hour later. You know what I mean? Or like things were like. My dad has this rule. Another thing of my dad is like we're not allowed to have technology in our room. We have to keep it under the microwave before we go to bed. And I would be like, some nights I would take it, and one nights I would see like, what do you say, what do you not? You know what I mean? Like so little things that I would figure out the boundaries. I think also being the youngest, I saw my brothers and I saw like how they would like do stuff, and like how do I mean by that? Like if they cross the boundaries enough, and I see my parents' reaction, and I was like, bro, it ain't even that deep. And, like, sometimes you're, like, when you're a kid, you're way more scared of a consequence than the actual reality. Because when you're a parent, you're, like, you know the significance of it, but you tell your kids, don't do that, it's bad. Like, a kid that's, like, when someone cusses, you know, when you're a little kid, you're like, don't cuss, it's bad. Right. And they don't realize, like, the real, like, worldly understanding of it. You know what I'm trying to say?
I got you.
But, like, growing up more, I realized, the things that my parents would, like, over teach about, and then realize it, like, they didn't really care that much, but they just felt like they needed to. They needed to, yeah. So I just, like, there's a lot of things I just, like, that I read, and then I just kind of figured out my own. And then I went to GCA for a little.
Did you really?
Yeah, for a year.
Oh, wow.
So I went to a boarding school for a year. Yeah. And that kind of gave me a little bit of independence, a lot of independence, first of all, when I was gone. But when I came back, I was way more independent. Yeah. And I think my parents read that, too, because they kind of were nobody else was at the house when I left. They were at home. They were, they were old people. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, they were, like, nobody but themselves. So I think we both got in our own little pattern. So when I came back, they gave me a lot more kind of like, all right, you're more of an adult now. Bro. More of this, that. So I started just doing my own thing. I started, like, kind of pushing my own boundaries and doing everything like that. And then I realized even more that they care and they don't want me to do some stuff, but, like, they ain't gonna really do anything. So I just realized that it's like, I'm a curious kid, bro. Like I guess that's the best way to say it. I was curious and I tested things out and I figured stuff out. And then it came to a point where, like, I realized that their words are not going to stop me from doing anything. So I realized I needed to create my own words to understand how I thought about things. And now that is, like, my true mindset on those quote-unquote things.
Interesting.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I get. So you had to kind of create your own, like, dogma, like your own, like, this is what I believe. This is in your own, like, words to be like, this is how far I'll go. But this might be the line. I might go this, but I won't go this further.
Yeah, I had to figure out my own lines for stuff. Yeah, because at a point too, I just started to, like, shut off my dad and my parents. Like, they would try to tell me or something, I would just be like, yep.
Hold on a second. This has been in my head for a minute.
And I would just block it out.
Oh, yeah, it's right there. Okay, we good. But
I would just block it out. Like, especially the minute I come back from GCA, like, I did not think I knew more than them, but I did think, like, I would still listen to some things, but, like, every time then they give their perspective on something, I'd be like, okay, cool, that's their perspective. Like, it's, like, not mine. So I just didn't care. I would just throw it out there. Like, I'd just block it out.
Wow. So I kind of had an arc like that, but it was a little maybe more inverted. Yeah? So, like, man, we're very similar. This is interesting. Yeah. I didn't know you went to GCA. So, went to boarding school? Yeah. I went to boarding school as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, like, growing up, I would say, I was experimental more in the sense that, like, anything that I wanted to do, just, like, I did it, but, like, within the lines, maybe, you know? Like, what is it? So being homeschooled, like,
there's, like, no lines for me.
Yeah, and that's I get that sense, like, then again, because you said yours was a little bit more discord at your house, right? More like all of mine was more structured, right? But within my structure, it was like a lot of freedom to just when I talk about experimentation, I mean like today, like I'm gonna build, I'm at home, I want to build some ramps, I'm gonna like jump over them. I'm like, hey mom, like come outside, play with me for a little bit, then let's go to the library, let's get some books. Like she was very much I was experimental in the sense that she let me freely
do whatever you
explore
want.
like creativity.
Wow.
And like exploration of knowledge. That's what I'm talking about, right? So I kind of developed into this kid, just kind of like, by the time I got to school, I think I was just kind of different. I was kind of weird, you know what I'm saying? In the sense, because like I had like all these other interests in like stuff, because I wasn't going to formal school, you know what I'm saying?
And I think really quick, I think people that are homeschooled, people think they're like weirder or stuff. I just think they're more mature, actually.
Yeah.
I think they just know themselves more because they've been with themselves more.
Right.
That when they get into social environment and stuff, it's like these people are not really themselves. They're weird.
Exactly. Because a lot of times in like formal environments,
they're just trying to fall in the mold.
Yeah, they're following the mold. Yeah. In homeschool, you can kind of do whatever you
exactly.
you please. You wake up, you do school for 2 hours, then you go do whatever you want, then you go back to do 2 more hours of school. You can do whatever, you know. So that's kind of what happened to me, right?
Yeah.
And then I went to boarding school. And then I think it amplified my more like independence, more just kind of, and I think that's kind of where I learned my own lines as well, you know, being outside of the house. Cause like that was like when I was 16, I left, you know, and then I haven't been really back home for real since then, you know.
Wow, 16.
Yeah, bro. So it was pretty young. Yeah.
That's crazy.
No.
I mean, I was gonna talk about the creativity. I would say like my parents, they supported my creativity too. But, like I was just like I don't know how to. I just did, bro. I just did random stuff. Like if I wanted to go in my backyard and build a fort, I would just go and build a fort. Like I did that. Like I just go and build a fort. If I wanted to, like, I would say I was a very creative kid too. But I don't think my parents ever hinder me. But they never like try to like excel that either, you know?
I got you.
It's kind of just like whatever I wanted, and it kind of did. I think that happened a lot too, but I think all control and like importance in someone's life, I want to understand more about it. You know, I don't want to just be ignorant on it, you know? And that's one thing that for me, even now I'm more interested in money than I've been before because it's becoming more of a significance for me. So it's like, how does money work? You can't let money sit, you know what I mean? Like it's a currency, you know, got to keep let it moving and stuff like that. So it's like, I'm starting to have money and then I start, even now for example, I'm starting to get money and then the money goes away. I'm okay, well, how can I create some kind of sustainable investment or income that like I'm being like, I just don't want to just spend my money. You know what I mean? I want to be smart with my money. So it's understanding that money is always going to be debt. You know what I mean? You're always like, it's confusing how I explain it. But I think also my dad being an entrepreneur and stuff has very much like taught me how you can make money, how make money work for you. You know what I mean? And how like kind of that mindset and everything like that. But also like financially wise, I would say we were very like flexible stuff. If I wanted to like join a soccer team and it was like an extra like $500, like my dad would pay for it, but he would work his ass off for it. You know what I mean? Like, but he could figure a way off. That way it is.
Right.
That's my way. My type of dad is like if my dad right now needed to make another like grand and something like I don't know how, but he would figure a way.
Figure out a way.
And I think like the lifestyle my mom wanted stuff kind of like pushed him and helped him become more successful in those kind of ways.
Having a woman around like that tells you what type of lifestyle she wants, bro, that'll push you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think like growing up, bro, I just always had like an entrepreneurial spirit, right? Like I remember when I was like, I don't even know, like probably 7 to 10. I remember like making flyers on PowerPoint, you know, and like printing them out and going around the neighborhood. Like I'll, do like lawn work. Yeah. I'll do like blah,
That's
blah, blah,
awesome.
blah. Yeah, bro, just like all the time. I think I think so. I don't even know if mine came from my dad. Like
because you don't talk to him about this kind of things.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And then like I did see him when I was young. He did like make his own business, and it was like booming. You know what I'm saying? Like he's doing
what was it?
Title researching, which is like basically like searching titles or deeds for property. So like somebody says, hey, I want to develop this property. He'll be the dude to like go out, like figure out who owns the property, all the hands, how many acres, blah, 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 the estimated value of and all that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, bro, like off of that, bro, he was booming. But like that was again like kind of through example. He never told me about it. He never taught me about it. I like would always remember going to his offices and like because like he would move. He had a few like offices like he moved from office to office. Yeah. And like I remember going there and like doing homework, like waiting for him at nighttime and stuff. But like he never told me about it. So I guess again it was like I saw it and maybe I did it subconsciously. Like I stored it and then like replicated it.
I think that's the key difference between like my dad and your dad is he explained like everything. Yeah. Like everything. And that taught me sometimes he would put his opinion in, but and I think now growing up I can like separate the two, but still like random things like he would tell us how he would run his business. He would tell us like, all right, I have this group, I have this many people in here. Each person is paying this much money. How much money is it? You know what I mean? He would be like, how much money am I getting from this group? And I would be understanding. And then he would explain what he's doing this time and everything. He's like, actually, this is kind of like a waste of time. He's like, even though I have this opportunity to make this money here, if I spend my money here, like time is money. You know what I mean? So I need like I can make a little more money here. Yeah. So it was like, I think also like an explanation is just like, if I didn't have the dad of my dad, I would probably just be a spoiled brat. Because I would say we are very like we live very comfortably. But my dad taught us at a very young age the value of money and like how like he made us work. Like still right now, I'm paying off debt for him. I got like in a car accident, another thing that happened to me. A normal dad in like quote unquote a normal dad in his financial situation could have just paid for it and be fine. But my dad is petty like me. Like my dad, like he's like, no, like you're paying for it. You know what I mean?
That's
like
crazy.
So it's like I am paying for it. I'm still paying off with him, but like those kind of things. Like we'd work in the yard. Like I know how to do so many things. Like physically, like things that like. So it's like those kind of things need to be taught to a kid, you know what I mean? And I don't think a lot of parents do that. Like a lot of parents don't teach their kids. Like they think they just if you provide food, auction, air, school, you're being a good parent.
Yeah, bro. And you're right. Parenting, I think it's a lot more than that. Like you really got to take time with kids. Like school, at least traditional schooling is not enough, bro. No. Like you're saying, just providing the basics, it's not sufficient enough.
In the end of the day, everybody like the way you're raised, and that goes in so many like ways, like spiritually, like physically, in so many ways, and like mentally. Everybody's gonna be different, and I think so many people are different. And I think the key thing is to have an open mind to understanding that not 99% of the people are not raised the way you are, and can't expect the same outcome. Right. And you gotta be able to like. Even though we're all people and we can all relate, it's like you still have to have that like respect. And I think no parent could be a perfect parent either. Like I think no matter what, like we're all human beings. You're gonna be a bad parent here and a bad parent there. But I think the key thing, and the key thing I'm gonna say in a lot of the podcast is like the effort of always trying to be better.
Bro, literally took the words out of my mouth. Here's my example. Bro. Yeah. My example, the best I could say for that is like, you know, Apple, you're an Apple person, I'm an Apple person. Yeah. Apple products all the way, cool. Like, they always come up, first they have 1.0, then they have 1.3, then they have 1.5, right? Yeah. Now we're on like Sonoma, whatever operating system. Point is like, they're always coming out with new like, updates, right? And like, when they first created the first update, right? Like, no, the first version of the software, 1.0, it was perfect at the time, the best they could do, right? But then, they realized, oh snap, if we change this, and this around, we can have a better outcome, better user experience, bro. The customer's gonna like this better. They're gonna be able to, navigate whatever. And so they came out with 1.3, and then that was the best. So it's like, but the first version of the product wasn't necessarily terrible.
Yeah.
It was just the best that they could do with what they had, the technology that was given at the time.
Yep.
And then you get more technology, more information, more understanding, more experience. We become parents, and then we build on what our parents maybe where we feel like it was a little lacking.
Yep.
We find something we could do better.
But the same thing is with the parents though. Like I think your parents learn from your older siblings to teach you. Like I think the key thing about also being a parent is you got to learn to like always wanting to learn and become better.
Wow.
You know, and like there's not maybe only one way, and I think maybe the way you were raised, like even the way you think are right now, and there maybe not. Maybe there's a different way of changing things and understanding things. Yeah. Don't just believe in tradition, you know? And I think like we could go on another topic. And I think we're gonna let's this is actually a perfect point to end, but also to like start like a whole nother podcast. Oh, yeah, okay. And that's like also talking about the changing, becoming better, not only as like as being a son, but like as the parents, and like the things that when we grow up in, and you know what I mean, the things that we are like known to like as our reality, we can't say those things are who that makes us who we are. I mean, part of those things you can, and you need to have some identity with that, but at the same time, like you can't say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that because I wasn't given the tools as a kid, or I can't do this and that. You know what I mean? I think you can always learn them. You can always become better. Like there's people that are like 60, 70 that are now running a marathon. Like that's a marathon physically, but you can still run a marathon in your 70s, 80s in your brain. You know what I mean? You still be like separating goals and you're still running up in your life. And I want to talk about more of that and talk about a little more about that mental block and that mindset and how that affects like physically, your physical health and mental health next episode.
I think that's a perfect topic.
That's like a perfect place to like end, you think?
Let's cut that.
Cut it out.
That's it.
I think I'm figuring out how more to like